Yes. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to the Fear the Walking Dead after show here at the Stream.tv. Hey, we finally made it to land. We got off water. We can stop. We can take off all the snorkel gear.
What?
Yay.
What?
I know, Kira. All right.
You look
so
great.
Welcome. We are live, so join us. Hop on the chat. I'm your host, Jocelyn Polite. I am joined by my marvelous deadheads here and my co-host over here to my right.
I'm Kiyra Lynn. Woo!
That's Kira snorkeling. And over here to my left.
Hey everybody, I'm Timothy Michael. Thanks for joining us.
All right, so tonight we're on the chat. Kira is going to be on the chat, so join the conversation, subscribe, and hop on, and we want to hear everything that you have to say. And also, Timothy is on Twitter.
Yes.
So if you want to have a conversation with us there and you want to let us know what your thoughts are about tonight's episode, then hop on there and let us know what's going on.
Woo!
All right, so here's the big news. Woo!
Yes.
Fear the Walking Dead after show is going to have a giveaway.
Yay!
Okay, so what we want
But
you
it's not our
guys to
snorkel
do.
gear.
No, it's not this. No, it's not this snorkel gear. But what we want you guys to do is use the Dead Yourself app on your iPhone or your Android, and you could win. Woo.
We got swag.
Or actually, it's not even a win situation because we love you guys. So if you dead yourself and send it to us at #FTWDAS, we could send you this Fear the Walking Dead t-shirt, which is just awesome.
Yes.
And also this amazing poster.
Bringing us back to season
Gloria.
1.
Remember Gloria?
Gloria.
I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm gonna kind of tip it this way, but remember Gloria in season 1, episode 1?
She's hot.
She's pretty creepy.
I feel like Vanna White.
So if you want to put that on your wall, hey, do it. We've all got some creepy in us, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you just dead yourself, use the app, or if you're really good with makeup, just go ahead and do a shot of yourself and
that'd
send
be
it
cool,
to us.
yeah.
#FTWDAS. We could feature it right here on the show, your picture, and we could also send you some goodies.
Yes, please.
All right, so what did we think about tonight's episode, just overall?
Should
I take this off?
Loved it.
Yeah, let's take this off. Let's take
Yeah,
this off.
I'll take this off. Okay, so what did we think about tonight's episode, just the overall of tonight?
Creepy.
Creepy, okay.
Creepy and, what's that word? Synchronized.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, yes.
I was going to say conflicted, too, a little bit.
Okay.
I love the fact that we finally have walkers. We finally had walkers walking, and it was a bunch of them. I think we've got more, more depth with the characters. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that went on this episode.
Yeah, there was a whole lot of stuff that went on this episode. I actually liked this episode.
Oh, yeah.
So I liked last week, and I actually loved this week, too. So this was a good one, and I was into it. I just feel like Fear the Walking Dead has picked it up. It's really picked it up, and you're starting to see them interact more and figure out things.
And I think you guys will agree with me that as each episode as they keep laying on the episodes of the season, they just keep getting better and better, and it's finally happening.
Yeah, I feel like they are really roping us in and just preparing us for that mid-season finale next week, and just leave us wanting more, you know?
Okay, well,
let's get into it.
Let's talk about, they went to Mexico. So we got to Mexico.
Thank God, finally.
I know, really. And, excuse me, we experienced some speedboat pirates.
Yes.
Right?
Speedboat pirates.
I kind of
like
thought
that.
of them as pirates, possibly, you know, because they're looking for money and everything like that. And so we experienced them, and we dealt with a death, like right off the bat.
Yeah.
And so what did we think? It was like Luis.
I mean, I'm
Luis's
sorry,
death.
but just them sneaking into, like, being smuggled into Mexico. I still can't get over it. I'm like, you're getting smuggled into Mexico right now. So they're like in the engine room, like just hiding out. I just thought that was so funny. But Luis's death, I was like, I mean, I'm not that affected by it.
Right.
At Elrie Steenkamp 1 on Twitter is waiting for like a main character to die, and she's kind of tired of these like side characters dying, and so am I. We feel you.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for that main character to die.
No, I do. I mean, I feel like a main one should die, don't you? I mean, I feel like I kind of wanted a main one to. I mean, we care about Luis, but I mean, we just met him. I mean, I don't want to be mean, but we don't really know him that well.
No, and yeah, I guess if somebody had to die, it was just going to be a secondary character. But you know, I have a personal prediction on who may go next, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Well, well, let's go. Also, one thing I have to say, and we'll jump back to Luis, is the Walker Church scene. And I'm calling them walkers. I should call them the infected because they haven't named them as walkers. But the infected at the church, we got like a good, you know, zombie human. I love that because I was missing that for so long. You know? And the water zombies didn't do it for me.
No, they were cool, but they didn't. Yeah, they weren't like they weren't a threat. What are they gonna do? Float? They can't swim.
Yeah.
They're just floating around.
And it took all of us a little bit to kind of figure out what was going on. And of course, as the episode progressed, we could see what happened. You know, they were pretty much going to gang up on the compound or the farm. But man, like those kids, like seeing the kids and the blood in the eyes, it was as gruesome as I wanted it to be. Finally!
But it was so crazy because it had so much religious significance. I mean, you know what I mean? Like the blood coming out of the eyes and just that scene of, you know, the choir boys and they're all taking communion. And,
Girl,
you know, that is not the communion any of us want to take.
I was raised Catholic.
Me too.
I was all about the scene. I mean, I like the gore. This is one of the reasons why I really like this show. And I'm like, that doesn't bother me. The little kids, I mean, somebody's going to die. People have to die.
Right.
Everybody's going to die. And, yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is that the title of the episode is called Sicut, Cervus, which I mean, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I might be wrong. But it's taken from a psalm or a religious choir piece, which I just thought was interesting because they opened with this choir singing and then going into that gore that you love so much. But I just thought that was interesting because I was like, what is this title episode?
I loved how, Jocelyn, though, when you were watching, you were like, oh no, they're singing in a choir?
Because it's always creepy, isn't it?
And that's why when you asked me, I was like, this episode was just creepy.
I'm like, something bad is always going to happen when there's like church singing in the choir. I was just like, something's bad is going to happen. But we did get a good fight scene, so I did like that.
Yeah.
So we did experience Luis's death and everything with that because obviously these pirates were absolutely not having it, and these pirates wanted money. They wanted gold. And Luis said that we weren't going to get into Mexico with all these people. He said that.
Right.
So anyway, he was the one that bit the dust. But, you know, were we surprised at Thomas Abigail's death?
I was. I didn't think he was going to go that early, and I really kind of wanted to see his character become stronger with Strand's character, and I kind of liked I liked his chemistry with Madison in those last final moments, and I think they really could have. You know,
fleshed him out.
Yeah, progressed on that. And I just love how Strand was like, she's fierce. And I was like, yeah, she's fierce.
Well, what I really liked about Thomas is, you know, Strand has just been he's just been such a hard ass. And seeing the scenes with Thomas, I mean, you just see another side of Strand that I'm afraid that we might not see again. You know, if we don't know whether or not he's going to eventually like bite the dust and take the communion and whatnot, but I liked the softness that you could find, like you saw with Thomas, and I'm hoping that along as this season progresses, we'll still have that part of Strand.
Yeah, I mean that scene was heart-wrenching. I mean you were just a ball of tears.
Kiyra was in tears. Kiyra was actually in tears. I mean I was kind of taken back because I was like, what an emotional scene. We weren't used to seeing Strand like that.
No.
He definitely. I wasn't even sure in the beginning if he loved this man. I mean because he was like, you know, taking his money and everything. So I wasn't quite sure. But he really has full emotions for him and he loves him, and their relationship is really cute. And I wish we could have kind of seen it played out a little bit more, but they had I guess Abigail had a good ending.
He did.
You know, he really did.
Yeah.
So, you know, and Strand, I love seeing him emotional, so that's good. Don't know if we'll ever see that again. Yeah. But, you know, we don't know. But the owl. So again, we kind of go back to Luis's death. It was very significant, but he wanted this owl to get to his mother.
Yeah.
And Timothy broke down the significance of the owl.
Like,
oh yes, he did.
I needed to do some research because you guys are on it, so we need to be on it. And I was just like, what? Why would? Because when he threw that coin with the owl overboard, we were all like, why? What? We were like, what an ass. I was like, there has to be something.
Daniel, right?
Yeah. So I was like, there has to be something, some kind of meaning behind it. And I found out that owls in Mexican mythology, they watch over death. So I guess he was just a little freaked out by the whole thing and just threw it overboard. And then obviously we come to find out what Celia has been teaching her son and all the people that are at the compound. But I mean, we'll talk more about that.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk more about that. But yeah, I was trying to understand that, and I was like, wow, this owl, like, what is going on with this little coin? And Ophelia, she didn't want him to throw the coin out, and she's like, this has to mean something. And it really affected Nick as well. So there was the coin, and then Nick and the owl kind of became a situation.
Yes.
Because he kind of went into what it means, and it kind of took him to his past. You know, it kind of took him to what happened that first episode with Gloria from our post. What happened in that first episode when, you know, when he was in a church.
Yeah.
You know,
which I found interesting, because when Ophelia asked him, you know, when's the last time you went to church, and he said, can't remember, and just kind of brushed it off. I was like, you remember, because that's where you first saw your first Walker person, and I think that the owl just representing death in that whole scene, just him looking at it, just brought him back to that whole, you know, if you think about it, if you really want to go deep, he was on the brink of death with like drugs and the path that he was heading down, and then seeing this girl biting on this other guy, and he knew Gloria, so just seeing that and death in that kind of incarnation was powerful too. So I could see why the owl had that significance on him.
I didn't even think about that. That's really good.
I just had to go deep for a second.
That was really good because that's deep. Go too. But that was really good because I didn't even think about that. But yeah, there was. I mean, his life was like The Walking Dead in so many ways. You know, in with the drugs and everything like that. So that makes total sense.
Totally had a religious experience. Yeah. And again, thank you so much for doing that research, because both Jocelyn and I were like,
we were like,
I have owls. Like, I wear owls, and I'm like, the owl is so damn cute. But what's the big deal? And thank you once again.
Yes, exactly. I know I would have turned it into a necklace, but that was me. All right, but Daniel's been going through some things. We saw a bit of that last episode, and we revisited this episode. He's hearing voices. He's seeing things.
You know, I'm excited to see where Daniel's character is going, because I didn't like Daniel in the first season of this show. I was like, I don't get it. I don't know why he's got like this I'm machoer than thou because I've been through this in my homeland thing. I didn't get it. But I see his way of thinking now, and I feel like he's one step ahead of everybody. Because as soon as that whole thing with Luis's group happened on the boat, he went upstairs on the deck and started stabbing people in the head. Like I wasn't even thinking that. I was like, oh, that sucks. Luis is dead, and this was already stabbing people in the head.
Right, and doing it so early too. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because this is still very new to them, and he knows, like, okay, I've got to stab him in the head and move on with this. But Daniel is definitely grown, but he's definitely going through something. He's got some turmoil going. I don't know what happened is it El Salvador?
Yes.
I don't know what happened there, but whatever it was major. And I was thinking about when the little boy wasn't there.
Having that flashback.
He was having that flashback, and he wasn't killing the boy. He was like holding him, and I was like, whoa.
Now, I'm wondering, who is that boy? Is that little boy is that Daniel as a little boy being strangled, or is that Daniel strangling a little boy? That was like the first thing that popped up in my head.
Right.
But I do also have to say, if we can just kick it back to Ophelia, and when she was praying to her mother, basically saying, Mama, I don't know, what's happening to Daniel. He's turned into this completely different person that I know of without you. So, she's definitely, it's obvious she's seeing a different side of her father, but, her mom obviously brought a calming presence to Daniel, and he's just lost it at this point.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And speaking of that whole, Walker horde, as soon as they get onto land, off the boat, finally, like we like to make fun of, I just kind of want to point out that it's interesting how this group of people is taking on like hordes of this size so fast.
Right.
Because in The Walking Dead, they try to avoid it at all costs. Like they don't want to be in the middle, they don't want to be involved. If there's one or two, they can handle it. Right. But there was like 12 or like 14 of them there.
So far in this season, we've had 2 herds come up out, and they've just taken them. They've just taken them on.
Exactly. Well, Chris, I'm worried about. I'm worried about you, Chris, because you look spooky, and something is going on with Chris, and he's starting to look very sinister, and he's starting to. I mean, what in the world is happening with him? I'm not surprised about it, but I'm just like. I guess it's not so much what's happening to him. I guess he has been through a lot. His mom, his dad was captured. I mean, I get it, but I'm a little nervous about him.
Okay, so it just basically we have to take back everything that we said in last episode where, finally Chris is like coming to this, hallelujah moment where he's finding that, Madison is his mom and Alicia, like we all have to take all of that back because now it's completely, he's gone off the deep end.
Well, do you guys think that Chris is kind of becoming like the Shane of this season. Like
Ooh,
this,
that's a good analogy. Yeah,
because I'm like,
comparison.
he's going down this dark road, and I don't know how the group is gonna handle that. And I just want to take it back to last episode when Reed had told Chris, you know, you're gonna be the outsider of the family. And I didn't want that to get to Chris, and especially after, like you said, what would happen with his relationship with Madison. I was like, okay, great, that's not going to happen. But now, when Madison was like, well, I'm going to go to Alicia because I believe Alicia, and Travis was like, well, I'm going to go to Chris, and then they saw him standing over the bed with the knife. I don't know. I
was like, is he going to kill her? I was just like, what is going on with the knife? Like, he was just standing there, and I'm like, what? Was he going to kill Alicia, Madison?
How creepy was it? He like walks into the room and he's all, Alicia. Like,
it was like,
was he trying to see if she was awake, or was she trying to get her attention?
But if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna walk into a bedroom and your stepmom is there, Alicia, I mean, it was a little creepy for me, but you know.
This whole episode was creepy.
This whole episode was
great,
creepy.
but it was
let
creepy.
me tell you who was really creepy. Celia.
Oh yes.
Celia was so creepy. I was like, what is up with this woman? I mean, from the time they hit land, there was something about her. I mean, you could tell that she was presiding over the farm, but she was no Herschel. Like, because I said the farm. That's funny. But
You did.
That's what I said the farm just now. But it was like, just like you said, it was Casa de los Muertos. And it was just, she had this thing about her where she was controlling all of this, but it wasn't sweet and fuzzy like Herschel. It was very like governor-like in a kind of way.
Didn't Luis a couple of episodes back when he was talking about his mom, he pretty much kind of relayed that his mom was a bit of she was a little bit controlling, and you know, she said something like, a little bit like, you know, don't mess with my mom. Like, you may think she's sweet, but she's not.
Well, yeah, just because I felt like he was saying that because she was established as Tom's housekeeper, but they were really raised together, so they were more like brothers, and she wasn't really a housekeeper. She was like Tom's mom. So I thought that was kind of the context that he was kind of putting that in. I didn't think that she was going to be like this.
Yeah, she's definitely, as of right now, the governor.
Yeah, and I just want to kick it back really quick before they even got to Celia. Just in the beginning when the other housekeepers, were like, hey, we need all your weapons, and then everybody was like, okay, here you go.
So
and Daniel was the only one to ask a question. I was like, wait. What? I don't. Wait. And like I said, he brings me back. He's always one step ahead of everybody else.
Oh man, that was so good.
And she was creepy too. She was another one. There was something about this. Well, we found out that what about this place is creepy. But she was another one. Just I remember when I was watching, like I was pulling back because I was like, what's up with this chick? And she's dressed all nice in her white and all this stuff, and she's asking for weapons, and I'm like, what is going on with her?
But, you know, are you not seeing? And I know we discussed this while we were watching the show, but there's so many like parallels right now into season 2 of The Walking Dead. I mean, this was season 5 when they were coming onto that one compound. We were like, can we take account of all of your weapons? We're like, we've seen this before.
Exactly.
We've seen this before.
Yeah, so we were in this compound, and we experienced this boy, which I have to be honest with you guys, like I love you guys to death, and I will watch anything for you, but the killing of children and animals, I just can't handle it. So I kind of pulled back from it. So Kiyra and Tim took that one.
Oh, Jocelyn was like, she was literally like this. I can't see. Is the dog? What are they doing with the dog? I can't watch the dog. I'm like, he's putting the dog in some sort of like contraption.
Right. Yeah. And he's feeding the infected. You know.
Which we come to find out that's what he was doing.
He's feeding the infected, and just like they did on the farm, the chickens. I couldn't watch that either. But you know what I mean. But and holding them, and it took a while for us to, you know, when we talked about it, like what was actually happening here. This woman, Celia, is killing people.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's straight, and she's making people infected and then keeping them.
Well, I just want to kind of break it down really quick with Celia's character before we even jump to what she's doing and what her motives are behind this. But her relationships off the bat with all of these characters, like her relationship with Nick, and how she like had that like motherly, creepy motherly thing over him.
Why does everybody want to mother Nick? I mean, why does everybody want to parent Nick? That's weird.
Maybe he walks in and he just seems like he's a palatable.
Well, she said that he was impressionable, and you know, Madison's like, oh well, he's fragile, and I was like, oh, well, here goes Madison again. But is she right?
Yeah.
Like last episode we had said, you know, the kids are smarter, like they're smarter than the adults in this, but are they really more fragile?
Right.
Because you look at Chris and you see his mental breakdown going. Nick is going through his own little, you know, are they dead? Are they not dead with Celia? And then
Alicia's watching TV.
Alicia's watching TV.
Alicia's
watching TV,
on the
sleeping
couch.
with her mother, like.
Right.
What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just that
maybe it
I
was
think
too
the
fast.
effects of
Maybe
it.
Madison's right.
Yeah, maybe it was too fast, but I think that Celia, and she has embraced this dead, you know what I mean? And the fact that she did this to the church as well, you know, with the wafers for communion.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're saying that, because right now I'm totally reading on the YouTube chat. Our guy, Johnny, is like, somebody please call out the fact that Celia is a mass murderer.
Yes.
Literally, he's saying this
right
as you're saying this.
Exactly,
That's
which you
right.
did.
Yeah.
And I kind of did a little bit of research. I'm a nerd, I'm sorry, you guys. But really the only poison that I read about that can make you bleed through your eyes was a boomslang snake venom that lives on like coastal areas. So that's what I'm guessing that she used on these poor people.
This is
but
why
you're
we
right.
love you.
But you're right. She is a Johnny boy. You are completely right.
is.
She's a mass murderer. She murdered all of these people for what? And I love how in that last scene with her and Daniel, she said, "Oh well, you're obsessed with death. Why are you obsessed with death?" I'm like, girl, you're killing people. You're obsessed with death.
You're obsessed with death, and it has some kind of meaning to her. And I'm really glad that Strand didn't. I mean, I know he loves Abigail, but I'm so glad that he didn't eat the little wafer cookie things.
We don't know that yet.
Well, yeah, you're right.
I don't know. I think
because
I don't know, because I feel like what Celia is teaching all of her people on this compound is that this isn't the final step, and that death is it's the next step, and then you can be brought back from it. So I think that Strand's way of shooting Tom in the head was his way of saying, I disagree with you.
Okay.
And I think that has a lot to do with when she came and said, you know, I never thought you were good enough for Tom. I think that really like hit home for him and was like, you know what, if you didn't think I'm good for him now, then I'll never be good enough for him.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to let you keep your son in this state, because it's not fair.
No, it's
you know
not.
what,
Because what
though?
are you going to do? Just lock him up into the cellar like you did everyone else? And you made a good point, because I know you have something to say, but I have to just bring it up. You made such a great point, Kiyra, because you did, you know, you said that she's very much like Lizzie was in The Walking Dead, because she really, in The Walking Dead, because she really felt like the walkers were
people.
And that,
people.
That even though they turned, they were still okay, and that, you know, you don't die, but you just go on. And so there's a lot of that.
Well, and this actually segues right into what I was about to say. Was I was a little confused when she found out that her son Luis had died, and you know, you would think a mother would be devastated, and you know, she has that conversation with Daniel as she's praying, you know, and she basically says, oh, well, Luis didn't get shot in the head, so she was fine about it.
Yes,
she was
don't
fine
feel
with
sorry
it.
for him.
So, yeah, I was like, oh, what is wrong with this woman? You're not crying over your dead son, and now we know why. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, she's another interesting character, I have to say, and she's another one that I look forward to, because I want to see what happens to
me
her,
too.
because, wow, I don't think we're done in Mexico, and some stuff is going to go down. But quickly, I had a question for you guys, because I was thinking about this all week, just about Fear the Walking Dead. And I thought about how, I think for me, I thought that Fear the Walking Dead was really honestly going to be kind of a prequel to The Walking Dead. I really thought that we were going to see what happened when this did break out and how it was in different places and how, but really it's a spin-off.
Yes.
And yeah, and so I was wondering, what were your expectations with Fear the Walking Dead coming off of The Walking Dead?
Well, see, I mean, when we were watching the show, I kind of made a little bit of a joke about it, about how when they were like bleeding from the eyes, I was like, did the whole the zombie apocalypse originate in Mexico? And we laughed and we're like, oh no, why can't anything originate in America? It's sad, or Great Britain, or like any of these nicer countries.
Mexico and Africa.
Right. But I feel like when I started watching Fear the Walking Dead, I really did want more solid answers on where it did come from, how it started. I mean, you know, with like Resident Evil, that whole series, we know where that started with the Umbrella Corporation and all that stuff. With The Walking Dead, it's like they keep us in this limbo, and even in the comics, we still don't know where it started.
No, and that's what I'm saying. And I remember we got Jenner in episode 1 of, in season 1 of The Walking Dead, where he explained how things happened, thought that like Paris, France was still up and going and things like that. And I just kind of wanted to see turmoil. I wanted to see, like, you kind of saw how cops were handling it. I wanted to see how is government handling it? How are politicians handling it? What's the mayor's office doing? Like, I wanted to see like the full chaos of how it really was going to go down and happen. And so that's all I had to say. I just, you know,
really
I just
turned
think
into a very character drama.
Yeah.
set in the in the Southland or now Mexico, and everything that's transpiring around us. Even though it was really hard, and I'm sure everybody else can agree, it was really hard not to compare the two. Like I think that's what was so hard about it, and now we're just realizing that it is its own separate entity.
It really is.
I'm not mad at where it has gone. But Justin, you make a good point. I mean, there are so many other stories that could be told, and I'm not saying they should be told, because there's a lot of I don't know, kind of curiosity. I mean, there's
a lot of curiosity. I'm curious,
which is cool, which is great for the show. You're right. I think that there's a lot of other stories that can be told.
I would have preferred a prequel, is all I'm trying to say. We got a spin-off, which is great, and I'm loving it, but I think I would have liked to see what happened before. So anyway, with that said, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to get to some of your comments and your questions, and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Oh my God.
Figure that out.
High five. Boom!
We had a crazy vampire threesome.
And you can't unsee that. That's burned into my brain now.
I was like,
You know why we saying yes. You know why we saying yes.
look at me, I'm dancing.
He was like, yeah, I'll tell you whatever you want.
He is quite something.
And we're like, inseparable.
These hoes ain't loyal.
You just went to a totally different direction on that one.
I love it. That's genius.
Billionaire goes broke, it means he's got like $4 million.
This might actually be a thing.
Somebody better take some pictures of this.
Are we there yet? Can we talk about that?
We've been waiting all night.
I don't know.
I don't like to break nails.
You can't count anything out. It's been another awesome night at the Stream.tv, guys.
awesome.
Thank you for joining us, you guys.
Oh, well, we're back. And we missed you guys, as always. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and just log on to us, watch us. Make sure that you watch the Stream.tv, because we've got all your favorite after shows right here.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to move into some questions and comments. And of course, and as always, I kick it over to the beautiful Kiyra.
So I love you guys. I know all of you guys, all of our hosts here love our interaction with you guys on YouTube. We totally read the comments and we completely respond. And Sonia Kinney brought this up because we were talking about last week how whether or not that whole tactic with Reed and his brother, if that actually had been used on in The Walking Dead, and Sonia Kinney basically said no, it actually had come from the comics with the character Holly. And so then I had basically asked her, how she felt on how they used the tactic based off of the show and based off of the comic. And she said that she didn't really like it. She felt that it was too soon for the people in the apocalypse to be this inventive. This episode was good, but they are days out from the start of all of this. This show flips back and forth from them being clueless to others being savvy. So we get you, we hear you. Thank you so much, Sonia.
No, I think that's a really good observation. And one of the things that I also saw in our awesome conversations with you was about, it was a comment about Reed. And when Madison brought him to his brother for the trade, he wasn't making any zombie gurgling noises. Which in the boat, when she was on her way over there, he was, you guys like that? He was going through all
That was great.
But he was going through all of that, and then as soon as she had him on there, he was just quiet. And I was like, well, did they gag him? Did they put something in his mouth? I mean, that didn't happen. So there was that little thing. And you can't do that with these fans because they pay attention to everything.
They do.
They do. Yeah, but I mean, we can't nitpick everything, you guys.
True.
I mean, we do have to have some kind of, leeway imagination to kind of get us to the next point. So Let's not nitpick.
But it still was a brilliant strategy.
No, it's a great observation. It's a great call out.
Yeah, a brilliant strategy.
You know what? We have more comments. John Millis basically says that he makes a Twilight reference, which I think is really cute. Because, you know, I am female and I did read the Twilight series. But he goes, Alicia is basically the Bella Swan. She doesn't emote, but we can project our feelings onto her. This kind of goes for Travis and Jack. I wish they'd show more actual character. I agree and disagree with that because as this series is progressing, and I'm sure that if John watched tonight, you could see, like, Alicia was a badass.
Yeah,
I mean,
she was.
You know, she full on called out Chris, got in his face, hey, you didn't stick up for my mom.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it if, you know, I tell? And that, I mean, she's just getting more fierce as the show progresses.
I'm glad you said it, because you knew I was going to stick up for Alicia, because I love Alicia, but I'm glad you said it.
No, and I think Alicia did do a good job tonight. And just to piggyback on that, Ophelia finally did something, which made me really excited tonight.
Yeah,
she
I'm
had
glad
a
you brought that
kill,
up.
and she did something, and I was very happy because I was getting sick of her. So I'm glad that she was able to do that.
Yes.
All right, so we also have some shout outs because we love you guys and we love interacting with you. And so Tim is going to give us some shout outs.
Awesome. We do have some awesome shout outs. I'd like to keep in mind that we have a lot of viewers from around the world. That includes Switzerland and Brazilians. Our viewer, Yan Martins, we need to shout out the Brazilian After Show. Thanks for watching our After Show. Maybe we'll check out yours. Send us a link or something in our comments. Oh Futile makes a cool comic book knowledge with The Walking Dead. He has some interesting theories, so thank you for those. Love and Zombies had a pretty good call out of when I had said in 2 episodes ago when Chris and Madison had said we're talking about they didn't know how they turned or not.
Right.
And then we forgot of season 1 when his drug dealer friend had gotten killed.
Yes.
But then he turned after he got hit by a car.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty good call out. So I wanted to give him some props on that.
Awesome.
Joy Ashihuwu.
Yes.
I'm totally butchering that. Thank you. Thank you. She has some strong opinions on Madison. She thinks she's annoying.
Yes.
And she thinks that a main character needs to die at some point.
And we totally agree with her.
Yes. But who do you guys think would be that main character?
Travis, bye.
What, you're not loving the Travis now?
He's getting on my nerves.
He's still a bit of a puss, but I'm gonna call out Chris just because he's just been so not lazy though. He's irresponsible.
Irresponsible.
He's been so irresponsible. So
I mean, we saw what happened to Shane too.
Yeah, this is true.
So
well. All right, we'll see. Maybe we'll get something at the mid-season break. But thank you for your conversation and all of your comments. We love it. And we also want to remind you that we're having a giveaway. And so we could give you this awesome T-shirt. And isn't that nice? That's like
it is cool. I love this population thing that they cross out it and then they make it lower. That's awesome.
And it has Fear and it has Los Angeles, which is
what size is this? Because I need to size large.
You got a large here. Exactly. And also, but I have some other sizes because I consider you guys everybody. And then also we have a poster here of Gloria from season 1.
And who makes an appearance.
Make sure that you send us your fear face. We want to see your best fear face. And actually, Kira and Timothy and I did our fear faces. We did it. We
did so much fun.
We did it ourselves on the Dead Yourself app.
That's Jocelyn.
And so I'm like eating a rat. And then
I got stabbed in the head.
He got stabbed in the head.
But Tim has such soft skin and
I love your photo, Kira. You got this eye roll. Like, why are you punching me in the head?
And so we want to see yours. So make sure that you use the hashtag FTWDAS. Send us your pictures and we can send you a T-shirt and a poster. Also,
and we'll sign it for you guys.
And we'll sign it, We'll just have fun because we hope you'll put it up somewhere. It'll be awesome.
You like us and you want us to sign your poster.
Yeah, hopefully you like us that much.
Exactly. Okay, well, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing your fear faces. We want to thank you for participating tonight in our after show. We want to remind you to click subscribe below and to comment and talk to us all week about it. All right, so we will see you next week for the mid-season finale. Oh my goodness, already.
I missed you guys.
But until then, we want you to have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Bye, you guys. You snorkel out.